Okay, so I just want to use Revit to start to set up a floor area calculation for the purposes of costing the building in a preliminary cost stage. I'm using this basic house that was part of the Revit course in 2014. So we've got a ground floor plan, first floor plan, and we've also got let's just switch off the underlay here. I'm going to switch off these grids as well. And we have a roof plan, like this. So to set up the area, first of all, we come to the architecture tab, we come over to area, and I'm going to set up an area plan for the first floor and the ground floor. And I'm going to set it up so it's a gross building area, like this, and press OK. And Revit is asking us, do we want to automatically create the boundaries of the area? Say yes for both of them. And because we've selected gross building area, it selects the outside face of the area. Oh, sorry, we need to select the area plan here. First floor plan. In both cases. So that's fine. And it's also put in an area calculation for us. Right there. And right there. So it's the same area on both levels here. So now we've got the area set up. The first thing I'm going to do is work with the schedules. So let's come down to, I've got a lot of stuff in this project, so let's just close all this down. I'm going to come here and say new schedule. And we're going to do a gross building area schedule. Press OK. And in this schedule we want to have the area, and we don't really have anything else in here. But if I go to the PowerPoint, the presentation here, we have a list of elements. If I just roll down here, and here we can see what we need to put in here. We have the estimated cost per square meter. Revit will calculate this for us, the area of the house, and then we can put in all these elements as we go through it. So let's just do that. I'm going to add the parameters in here. So add a parameter, and let's just okay, let's just do it by square meter. So I'm going to call this one unit cost per square meter. And this is going to be currency, because we're talking about money here. And we can just leave it under other, but you could put it into any kind of categorization you want. I'll leave it under other for the moment. Press OK. And what else have we got here? We need to put in site costs and earthwork. So add parameter. Name site costs. Let's just double check that. Site costs, including weather, is the way I have it phrased. And this is going to be currency. That's okay. The next one is sewer and earthworks. Add parameter. Sewer and earthworks. So this is just talking about the excavations and the basic elements that we need to set the building up on site. And we have the floor area of the house, we have the unit cost. So let's start doing some calculations here. So you can see is we have the estimated cost here, which is 14,221, and then we have this, the floor area. Multiply these two together, we get the construction cost. So let's start off by doing that. So I'm going to do is set a calculated value up. So calculated value, and I'm going to call this construction cost before adjustments. This is also going to be currency. And this is where we get Revit to do the calculations for us. So we add in the area of the house, and I'm going to use the star symbol here, which means multiplied by, and I'm going to put in the unit cost. And if I press OK here, it tells us we have inconsistent units because we're dealing with an area calculation and trying to multiply it by a currency calculation. So the way to get around that in Revit is always to do an underscore and divide everything by 1. And if I press OK and OK, we have no answer right now because we've just set up the area schedule. So we need to fill in the unit cost. So let's just move Revit over here. Just gonna take it down a little bit, move it across. We have it on the side here, and we'll just slide this over so we can see what's going on. So unit cost, let's use this one here, 14.221 or 14,021. We need to use the American symbols, so we're using, we're not going to put in that point. Then we have a calculation of the construction cost over here. So let's just use the filtering tools for the schedule to move this across. So first thing I'm going to do is take the fields. I'm going to move the construction costs up until it's just behind area and unit cost. Press OK, and you can see that now these two are together. Let's just Control C, copy this, paste it in here, and if I press enter now, it calculates both of them. They both happen to be the same for this house, but they could be different. We can also come into formatting button here, and we can tell it to calculate the total area, and we can tell it to calculate the total construction cost. Press OK. And now we need to just go into sorting and grouping, or not sorting and grouping, but filtering. Sorting and grouping, yeah, sorry. And we can tell it to organize according to construction cost, give it a footer, give it a grand total, press OK. And you can see that it's calculated the total here, but it's done it twice, so let's just go and modify that again. Grand total, maybe you don't need a grand total in there. Yeah, that'll do it fine. So it's calculated the total of the area, and it's calculated the total of the construction cost. Now, we can either calculate the site costs per square meter, which is the normal way to do it, or we can just add these figures in, because I'm just displaying this method. So let's just put in construction costs of 200,000. We don't need it in both situations, obviously, so we'll just do it once. 100,000. And then we can create a new calculated value to add these to the construction cost. So let's come into fields, calculated value, and this one is going to be called, let's call it the same as what we have here, sum 1 plus 2 plus 3, sum 1 plus 2 plus 3. And we're going to make this a currency, and so the formula is going to be construction cost before adjustments plus site costs including weather plus sewer and earthworks. If I press OK, it allows us to add it automatically because we're just adding 3 currency types together. So I press OK now. You can see that it's calculated along the top what is required. So we just need to put 0 in here and 0 in here, so we can get a total calculation going. And now we can just go and modify the fields again, change over to formatting, and where we have sum 1 plus 2 plus 3, we want to calculate the totals. It's OK. And you can see that now we have a new total coming up. Okay, so now we need to get into the various adjusters. So the first adjuster we have is, if we come down to the bottom here, whoops, we go to the geographical index, and we want to build it in Westjulen. So let's just add that as a parameter in here. So edit and put a new parameter in here, and recall this one geographic price variation, and this is going to be a number, and we press OK. So now we get to make a new calculated value that we can call product with geographic variation. This is going to be a currency, and the formula is going to be sum multiplied by geographic. That's okay. Okay. So now we have the option to put in the geographic price variation. We're going to say it's 0.85. And we can either cut and paste or just type it in again. And now we want to get the total calculated again, so we come over to formatting and product here. We want to calculate the totals. Press OK. Okay, so let's continue to add parameters for the second adjuster we need to worry about, which is indexing over time. And this is where you take the values from this website here and you make a projection. You take the base time that's according to the price book we have and those values, and then we make a projection into the future according to the line of the graph, and to make an estimation as to where it's going to end. So let's put those two values in here. So January 2013 construction cost index. So let's do that. Add a parameter. Cost index start, and this is just a number. It's okay. Cost index end. And this is also a number. Press OK. And then we have a calculated value, which here is called index difference. Let's put in index difference. And that's cost index end minus cost index start. Okay. And then we want to be able to use this in this formula here to calculate the final adjustment amount. So I'm going to add a new calculated value, and we call this index adjustment amount. And this is going to be a currency, and the formula is going to be the product of the geographical, so let's do that, product with geographical variation multiplied by, and this is where we need to use our brackets, multiplied by the index difference divided by the cost index start. Okay. Whoops, close the brackets again. Let's see if that'll work. That's fine. And then in order to finish it off completely, we then need to add the index amount to the construction floor area with the adjuster to get this this value here. So that's another calculated value. So we call this one preliminary cost estimation. So this is the final number. It's a currency, and this formula is the product with the geographic variation, and then we're going to plus the, what did we call it? The index adjustment amount. Yeah, there we go. And press OK, and hopefully that's going to give us what we need. So all we need to do now is type in the cost index start, which was, according to this scheme, 120.2, 120.2. Cost index end, 121. Index difference, index adjustment, preliminary cost according to the first floor level. So let's just copy this down. Control C, Control V, Control C, and Control V. And then we have the preliminary cost per floor level here. So let's change the formatting. So the preliminary cost estimation calculates the totals. It's okay. And here we have the preliminary cost for the entire house.